Federico, we are back for another episode of MacStories Unwind. A little late in the day. We are actually recording this the day that it will be released because you know what? It's review season, which is which is our version of crunch time. If you know that term from the gaming industry, we've been busy. We got a lot going on.
I need to go outside. That is the short version. Is I need to go outside.
Yes.
I need some air.
You do, and you should do that as soon as we finish up here. Take your dogs for a walk. But and the topic I want to share with listeners today is exactly that: is going outside and maybe touching a little grass. And I want to start with a return to the Wild Kingdom because we go back to the Wild Kingdom on this show.
So this is a bit of a story.
It is a bit of a story. It's going to be a very southern story. I'm trying to learn from my new surroundings the art of the southern story, because when you live in the South, one of the things I went to school, I went to college in North Carolina, and one of the first things I noticed as somebody coming from the Midwest, and the same was true for my wife, Jennifer, who was from Boston. We noticed that people in the South, they like to tell stories, and they like to tell them very slowly. And for the two of us, we were like, get to the point.
Spit it up.
Spit it out. We were the Northerners who were like, come on, get the story out. Okay. So, but you know what? I think there's something really nice about that style of storytelling and that kind of way of life, which is just, you know what? Sometimes the pleasure is in the story itself and listening to the story, and getting outside is really what it's all about. So you and I have obviously been very busy for the last couple of weeks. We have been working longer hours than typical, but we have also made a little room here and there to take time off with our families. I know that you and Sylvia were at the beach not too long ago, and last night I went into town for trivia night at our local coffee shop, because I one of the things I like about trivia night's kind of a goofy thing. You think about it, it's kind of anachronistic in this day and age of smartphones. Right. But for me, what I love about it is you're not allowed to look at your phone. This is me forcing myself to do something completely analog. So I'm not touching my phone. Maybe, sure, I'll check my messages in between rounds because it's like a 4-round trivia night. I'll check my messages and stuff like that now and then. But for the most part, you're just sitting outside on a nice warm evening.
That's nice.
Yeah. And so, and my son is going back to college soon. So I wanted to spend some time with him as well. So we walked downtown, and our town has a main street with a lot of shops and restaurants along it. And behind those shops and restaurants, there's like a path there's no traffic. It's just like a brick path. And it runs between that street, the main street, and the next street over. And I think if you were to go back, I don't know, decades ago, you would find that was probably an alley originally where, deliveries were made and trucks would drive. And that there's an important part of this story, which is because it's no longer an alley, it got bricked over and it's a pedestrian walkway. It's very nice. It's very shady. It's a great place to cut through instead of being on the main street in the summertime. We just happened to cut through there last night. And we're walking past a breakfast place about halfway to the coffee shop, right behind it. And there were two girls who were sitting at a picnic table and they were staring into the bushes in a way that was like unusual. It's like
something's going on in the bushes.
They were focused on these bushes. And I didn't think a lot of it. I was talking to Jennifer and Calvin and we were walking along and I was like, and I kind of looked, but I didn't see anything and I just kept walking. So then the coffee shop's maybe 4 or 5 more businesses down. We grabbed our seat because you got to get a good seat. There were 18 teams at trivia last night, and each team is anywhere from a couple of people to maybe 5 or 6. So there's at least like maybe 150 people there. It was big deal. And the coffee shop. This happens behind the coffee shop. When you walk out the back door, there's like an elevated wood deck with a lot of tables. Then it goes down some stairs to a ground level patio area with more tables. And then beyond that, there's another elevated wooden structure with a roof, which on the weekends is used as a stage for bands because they also have like local bands play there on the weekends. And that's where the trivia, where the woman who does the trivia sets up her microphone so everybody can hear her, and does all the scoring with her Mac laptop and so forth. And this is the point of the story where, as a good Southerner, I'm going to take you on a complete tangent and say, before trivia started, I ran over to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription. I got to the front of the line. I paid with my iPhone 16 Pro Max, and the pharmacist behind the counter said, "Oh, is that this year's Ultra?" She called it an Ultra. She goes, I meant to watch the presentation on Tuesday, but I missed it. I'm thinking of upgrading this year." And I said, "Oh, those are some pretty nice phones this year." And I should have handed her my card. I didn't have a card. But you should read what I'm writing. Anyway, that's my iPhone story. But anyway, I went back after I got my prescription. We ordered some food from a local place, and we're eating it outside and just taking it easy. And then around 7:00, trivia starts. And it usually goes from like 7 till 9. And around 8:30, after the sun had gone down, and after it was
okay. So after 90 minutes.
Yeah. This is
right?
This is. I mean, so far it's just a normal evening of trivia. You know, we got some food, we were hanging out, we got some drinks, we were doing the trivia. And
what were you doing? Were you doing well?
We did terrible, Federico. We did terrible.
Okay.
There were 18 teams. I think we were 15th place going into the last round, and the last round is double or nothing. So we bet all of our points, and we got it wrong. And I lost it for us because Jennifer actually came up with the right answer. I said, no, it's this other thing. Yeah.
Do you have a team name?
We were the Dragons because Calvin goes to Drexel University, which is the Drexel Dragons. So we picked their mascot as our name. And there were all they do really hard trivia, and there are a bunch of, because there's a college in town, there are a bunch of professors who have been doing this for like a decade. Wow. And they come out every week, like, religiously, and they're really good at it, and they just crush everybody. But there was all kinds of wild questions, even ones like, how many houses were on sale in North Carolina in the month of August? It's like, okay, I don't even know how many people live in North Carolina, let alone how many houses. And that was one, whoever was closest to the number got the most points. But that is yet another digression. We are through, there's 4 rounds. We're through about 3 of them. Round 4 is going on. We're kind of not doing great. And we're already thinking about, well, pretty soon we'll be going home. And it's maybe 8:30 at night. And it's really pretty dark at this point. And there are lights, but they're not a lot of lights. So it's pretty dim. And I had my back to the stage where the woman doing the trivia was. And all of a sudden, she just stopped talking in the middle of something. I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe her mic cut out. And then I look at Jennifer, and she's like looking at this table who are kind of like close to us, a table with a ton of people at it. And there, I look over at the table, and they're all staring at the bushes by the base of the stage.
Again,
yeah, it's the same kind of
bushes.
thing, right? There's probably like 12 college kids. They're all sitting there, and I see the 2 or 3 of the women who are closest to the stage start instinctively backing up, right? Like semi-standing, kind of crawling on top of the table almost, right? On a picnic table. And I see the woman who does the trivia night looking down over the edge of the stage and trying to see what's going on the ground below, but I couldn't see anything. And I'm like, what's going on? And I look, and at the corner of the stage, the wooden stage, there was like a fern. It was like a pretty good size, plant, a fern plant. And I'm looking, I catch a movement out of the corner of my eye, and I look down at the fern, and out pops the head of a skunk staring straight at me, only about 10 feet away. Like we're talking like maybe 3 meters, 4 meters, really pretty darn close. I mean, I could see his little beady black eyes staring right at me. And Jennifer, I look at Jennifer's face. Jennifer immediately gets up, walks towards the coffee shop. She's like, I want to have nothing to do with this. She's up and she's going as far away as she can. But almost as fast as I saw this little skunk, he disappeared back into the fern. And people are looking, and people are wandering around trying to see what's going on. Because there are a lot of people up here, both on the stage, behind the stage at picnic tables, next to the stage. There are people everywhere. Little kids, because there's a little kid park right there. I
Yeah.
mean, and all of a sudden then the skunk reappears. Because the skunk had gone back under the stage, which is elevated maybe, like 6 inches or a foot. He reappears behind the stage, away from me, thank goodness. And you know what? This skunk, he is living large because this alley had been paved. The way that all these restaurants that are along Main Street take out their garbage is that there's a bunch of dumpsters near a parking lot. It's got a brick wall on all 4 sides. It's like hidden, so you don't have to look at it. Sometimes you can smell it in the summer, but there's a bunch of dumpsters in there for all the local businesses. And Calvin and I, having done trivia before, had seen skunks wandering in and out of there, but it's pretty far away, pretty far removed from where we were sitting. This skunk, it was like, I can get garbage anytime. I want the fresh food from all the people who've been eating their dinners while they play trivia, right? Because people had ordered pizzas and sandwiches and salads and ice cream, and there's all kinds of food, and people maybe
plenty of
crumbs and little bits, kids dropping their snacks on the ground. Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna feast on some fresh food. So he's like walking really slowly beneath the picnic table, and you see the people at each picnic table get up really slowly, and back away, and then it keeps walking, and another table gets up slowly, backs away, and this happens to like 3 or 4 picnic tables before finally the skunk is like, I've had enough of these humans, and he waddles off and away from the coffee shop, and we're able to finish our trivia night. But
so you were able to finish trivia night.
We were. We also saw a giant spider at the coffee shop. A really big spider. But yeah, that's my story. And but here's
how big was the skunk?
So I would say a skunk is roughly the size of a very small dog, like nowhere near
very
as
small dog.
like bigger than a squirrel,
like a chihuahua.
Maybe a little bigger than that. Yeah, something like that, but a little bigger. I mean, bigger than a squirrel, for instance. But not as big as like I would consider your dogs kind of like medium-sized dogs.
Yeah, my dogs are
definitely much smaller than Zelda.
Okay, so they're smaller than my dogs,
and they're they're very short and squat and close to the ground. A lot like that groundhog that I sent you a picture of. That kind of size, like maybe like the size of a football or something.
Okay, but so at the very least, though, the skunk didn't spray anybody.
He didn't. That's what everybody was obviously very afraid of, because a lot of times people bring their dogs too to trivia night.
Oh yeah.
Because the whole thing.
Did you hear Jason's story on Upgrade?
I did. His son let the dog out.
His dog got sprayed, but the skunk.
I told Jennifer about that, because that's what I was thinking. But for whatever reason, it didn't. I don't think anybody had their dogs there last night. Usually there are 2 or 3 dogs at least, but. None last night, which was good. But
I have no idea what that smells like.
It smells a lot like pot.
Interesting.
It really does. It's very close.
Interesting.
So it's like that, but more pungent, like even more.
And if it sprays like you or like a dog, like it lingers for days.
Yeah,
right?
You just can't wash it off. I mean, it permeates your skin, and then there's no. It's really, really hard to get the smell out.
Yeah, because it's basically like a defense mechanism that they have.
Yeah,
right? It's like against wild predators.
Yeah, because they're not. I mean, they're not animals that are they're not fast. They're kind of short into the ground. That's how they're just like plant eaters. I think that they eat bugs and plants and things like that.
And in this case, garbage.
They love garbage, and there's plenty of garbage
from the restaurants.
From all the restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you didn't get sprayed, which is good, but you did terrible at trivia.
We did terrible, but I really won trivia, Federico, because I convinced my family to go to trivia, which Jennifer takes a little convincing. She generally won't go with me unless one of the kids is with us too. And I just like it because I don't have to, it's just a mechanism for me to kind of get out, be outside, be around other people, and not use my phone, which, those are 2 big things. Like most of the day I work at home by myself without a lot of other people around, and I'm always on the screen. So doing that to me is like, oh, this is just like such a nice breath of fresh air, just being outside and doing
I know, right? It's nice.
using my brain, but not using my brain with a computer, just trying to think of things, trivia that I answer some that I might know. So, but it was fun. It was nice. I mean, of course, it's always hard to do those things when you're busy with a review like we are, because you always feel like, oh, I could be doing more if I was at home. I could be ahead of the curve. But at some point, it's counterproductive because there's only so much you can handle in one day.
Yeah, you can only push yourself so far.
Yeah,
you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
well, thank you for the story. You told it in a very southern way.
I know.
Say.
I think if I was more southern, I would have like even slowed it down more, and I would have been more low key about it. But it was kind of an exciting story, so I had to get into it.
Yeah, it sounds like the way my mom tells stories. Like she needs to tell a story and she starts by saying, "So I decided that morning that I was gonna wear my orange shoes."
Right.
It's like, Mom,
what do your shoes have to do with this story?
I don't know, but she always does this. So it kind of reminds me of that.
It's like that.
It's like this hyper detailed way of telling stories.
It is. It is. So that's my southern story, and I do have an unwind deal for everybody, Federico.
Okay.
I want to recommend The Prestige, which is
great movie.
It's a Christopher Nolan movie. It's only $5.
Great plot twist.
Great plot twist at the end. It. Yeah, no, it's a psychological thriller. It's about rival magicians in Victorian London, and great period piece, great looking movie. Really interesting characters, a great cast too. I mean, it's got like
Christian Bale, right?
Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman, Michael Caine, Scarlett Johansson, whole bunch of big stars in it. And it's only $5 on Apple TV. So that's my recommendation. I think it was a 2006 movie. So it's it's not new. Yeah. It's amazing. It feels new to me still. That doesn't seem that long ago, but that was a long time ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's one of his earlier movies, one of Nolan's earlier movies.
Yeah.
All right, Federico. Well, you know what?
Right.
Thanks for listening to my story. I thought I'd give you a little break because I know that your review is roughly 3x the number of words of mine, and I've been writing elsewhere.
It's almost 2x as last year's review.
Oh, I guess that's right. So
it's been
I guess that's right.
It's been a bit of a challenge. It's been a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Well, everybody, Federico is going to go outside right now. This is my way of getting Federico to go touch grass a little bit himself, get some fresh air, exercise his dogs. I am going to get back at screenshots, I think, and reading Federico's review, which I haven't done yet. And we'll be back
Have fun
on Monday with MacStories, where we're going to talk all about his review and mine, as well as, some background and some behind the scenes stuff probably for the pro members. We haven't even really discussed this yet, so this is I'm planning out our episode.
No, that is correct. There is always going to be a making of the process and the behind the scenes. Plus, there's going to be some extras. I guess I can talk about it now. There's gonna, and then we'll have more details on Monday. There's gonna be a very detailed, very different from the usual behind the scenes about the process, like how I actually made it all happen. And the plan is to also have. I want to share a whole bunch of Apple Intelligence related shortcuts because that's the thing that is new this year.
Yeah.
And so I want to have a little lesson, so to speak, about how to take advantage of that Apple Intelligence integration in shortcuts and share some examples, like some advanced examples of the things you can do. So there's going to be that. There's going to be the behind the scenes for the review, but a very different process. And I also plan on sharing this is also something that is new this year, some drafts related actions, which nice. I use the Drafts app a lot. So I am planning a series of different extras and perks, which is going to be fun.
Yep. Very nice. I have an example for you of Apple Intelligence. I did a request of the small on-device model. I said, tell me why the tech writer John Voorhees is so awesome. And it refused. You know why it refused? Yeah. Because of guardrails. It said that I thought I was asking about Jason Voorhees, and I was asking it to glorify horror movie violence.
Yeah, that's a small model for you right there. That's what it does.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, there is a lot of really interesting and cool stuff you can do with shortcuts with the models, which I've been experimenting with a little bit myself.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody, that's it for today. We will be back in another week. Federico, don't overdo it. Take it easy. Touch grass.
I will try. I will try. I will do that right now.
All right.
Yes.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
See you.
All right.